Thanks, Stephanie, and thanks everyone for joining today. We're very excited to talk about the Callisto G360. I'm going to spend a little bit of time just introducing why we came out with the product, and then I'll turn it over to Kelly. So the Sirona S, which many of you are familiar with, was the first rotating car seat, convertible car seat with load leg in the market back in 2020. Since then, the market's changed a lot. More and more seats have gone towards rotating seats. There's now over 7 brands that offer different versions. And so one of the things that we wanted to do ever since Sirona S launched was, hey, how do we bring the next big thing to the market? How do we make up for what we saw as a deficiency in usability, not necessarily usability, I guess, but more intuitiveness of the installation. And so that's why we came out with Callisto. The market shift in general towards rotating seats says, 70% of premium seats are rotating, so it meant as well. And then not to just look at rotating seats, we want to deliver on unmet consumer needs. What are some of the wants and frustrations? What are some opportunities to improve parents' installation of seats and usage of seats? And then, with our German engineered product, American trusted, we really wanted to establish CYBEX as a leader in child safety in North America. As many of you know, we're a European brand and one of the #1 brands in Europe. And we really wanted to bring that expertise and product design to the US with the newest innovation. Next slide. So anytime we take upon a new product, we look at, what are the consumer needs? What are some unmet needs? What can we do with current products to improve things? And as we do surveys and talk to customers and stuff, safety always is very important. It's always towards the top. Quality obviously is very important. Ease of use is important. And so those are really the things that we try to focus on for the most part. When you talk to parents on safety, there's some things that pop up pretty regularly now, and that's side impact protection, understanding what that is and how that helps the child. FR chemical-free fabrics, kind of a must. Maybe back 10 years it was just something new, but now there's kind of a must. Getting the installation right and tight. And, I know we have different numbers, but 75% of car seats are still not installed correctly. How do we make this so that anybody can do it first time and it's repeatable? If the mechanic takes the chair out for mom or dad because he has to work on the car, they can easily put it, not the mechanic themselves, but the parent can easily put it back in and get it right, even if they had a CPST installed for them the first time. So letting me know if something's wrong, and other things with the seat too. And as well as new safety standards that have come out. And so there's going to be more talk about that. Parents will quickly pick up on that. And hey, does my seat meet all the newest safety standards? And then, safety is #1, as we talked about, but comfort and convenience were things too that we tried to really focus on, and we'll go into some more of those details later. Next slide. So this took, a couple of years here. And so throughout the whole process, how did we make sure we had the seat right? We have a lot of experience within our company. We have a lot of experience in Europe. We're part of Good Baby globally. And so we have a lot of experience, but at the same standpoint, you got to make sure that the parents get it. And so along the way, what did we do? 400 plus development and homologation tests were conducted, not only to make sure that we're meeting the standards, we kind of always look at that as the floor, but also to make sure that, everything we're putting into has that extra bit to it. We fit kids along the way. So we go through generally about 4 to 5 different prototype stages. And along the way, we, from the very first to the very last, we're constantly bringing in children from different ages. And so we had 18 different fittings that we did with newborns, 10 pounds, all the way up to an 82-pound child. And those were just people we brought in. We also used, family and friends as well to fit, because obviously this product goes from 4 pounds all the way up to 120 pounds. When we brought the parents in, it was not only about asking the children about, hey, how do you feel? Does anything feel uncomfortable in the seat? Making sure that, they fit properly. But it was also getting that information from parents, like, how easy is this to turn? How about the installation? Is it intuitive? Ergonomics, do you feel that your child looks comfortable in this seat? All along the way, gathering that information. And then also just as important is does the design fit properly in the vehicle? So we did 100 plus vehicle installations in 30 different models, top volume production vehicles, top CYBEX consumer vehicles that, we might get calls from our customers saying, hey, I want to install in this car, can you help me? So we capture that information as well and check it with future vehicles or future designs. And then consumer reports test vehicles as well to make sure we're balancing out and understanding the to get the greatest fit as possible. So that's how we evaluated it. One other thing that was very important with this seat, and it goes back to that kind of safety leadership, was the tether. And so one of the things we wanted to make sure is that a lot of people don't use the tether. There's a study, 44% misuse, 26% don't use it. So there's 70% people that don't use it, and or that have issues with it, let's say. And it's such a critical safety feature. We wanted to really step out and be advocates for this. And so when consumers receive the product, when they open up the box, they'll have the tether hook right there facing them, and it has a hang tag on it that talks about tether, why it's important, and advocates for it right out of the gate. And so we're advocating that as soon as you install that seat, you install the tether, and if you've used the seat belt, it's kind of a one-time installation. So we've really tried to increase that, and we'll watch closely and see, but hopefully it gets more and more tether usage. We're going to play a video here, and you can just see, many of you may have seen this before, but on the left side is that you see the red line and the blue line, that's without tether, and this is forward facing, obviously, and on the right hand side. So tether does a big impact on rear facing and forward facing. So I guess with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kelly to kind of go through the product a little bit with you.
All right, let's get the slide moving here. There we go. So hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Thanks for taking the time to join us for today's webinar. And again, my name is Kelly Murphy, and I am the Child Passenger Safety Advocate for CYBEX. And thank you, as always, to Steph and the entire team at Safe Kids and State Farm for hosting these many, many car seat webinars throughout the year. So here on the screen is the lovely, beautiful, fantastic, brand new Callisto G360 all-in-one rotating car seat. This seat is designed to grow with your child from birth all the way through booster. And props to the CYBEX fashion team. The fabric on this seat feels amazing, and the color choices are some of the most beautiful that I've ever seen. And right now, that fabric on the far right, the stormy blue, that's got to be my favorite. That's my favorite this week. It does change, but right now that's been my favorite moving forward. So this is a rotating all-in-one car seat, and the Callisto G360 evolves from a rear-facing car seat all the way again to a high back booster. The Callisto is ready to keep the youngest passenger safe and comfortable at every stage of their car seat riding. This slide is a nice view showing the Callisto's 3 modes of use: rear facing as an infant seat, forward facing as a toddler seat, and lastly as a high back booster. The back in booster mode is not removable, so it is a high back booster only. Also, very exciting news is this seat does comply with the new FMVSS 213 side impact and frontal impact safety standards. So the rear-facing weight range for the Callisto G360 is from 4 to 40 pounds, and the child's height must measure at 43.3 inches or below. The lowest harness height on this seat comes in at 7.4 inches. And we do want the child's head to be, sorry about that, we do want the child's head to be at least 1 inch below the top of the shell or the headrest, so either line A or line B. So we've had some questions rolling into customer service since the release of the Callisto as to why we dropped the rear-facing weight on the Callisto G360 to 40 pounds versus its predecessor, the Sirona S, having a rear-facing weight limit of 50 pounds. So with the new FMVSS standard, the feasibility of testing at 50 pounds is much more complex, and not just for CYBEX, but for all child restraint manufacturers. So to better align the dummy selection based on these new testing requirements with the size and weight of children that typically restrained in the child restraint system, NHTSA's final rule adopted the use of the crabby 12-month-old to test the child restraint systems designed for children weighing up to 30 pounds, and that of the Q3s, or the 3-year-old dummies, to test the child restraint systems designed for children weighing 30 to 40 pounds. So based on this information on the slide, CYBEX chose to focus on more realistic extended rear-facing parameters with the development of the Callisto G360, and we were able to do that very well without compromising safety. So again, focusing on data and more realistic extended rear-facing parameters, you can see in this slide the average ranges of weight and height based on growth charts developed by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So NHTSA established the minimum weight limits that correspond to the 95th percentile 1-year-old child. So this helps to ensure that children up to 1 year of age are in child restraint systems that are facing rearwards. It's also important to remember that the weight and height characteristics versus an age are the most relevant parameters affecting crash force mitigation. Okay. Well, that was a mouthful. So moving on and continuing to talk about the importance of rear facing, the Callisto G360 has a really nice removable multi-stage infant insert. The insert is 2 separate pieces. The head pad can be used up to 20 pounds. The seat pad with the foam wedge can be used up to 11 pounds, and without the foam wedge, up to 20 pounds. All of the inserts are optional, so if you get a better child fit without one or both, that is perfectly acceptable. So this is a screenshot from the user manual, and this is also a picture of the removable foam wedge that I took out of its seat pad. It is EPS foam, and I did a few measurements, and it does come in right around 1.5 inches for the thickness. So it gives a nice boost to a smaller infant. And along with that 7.4-inch lowest harness height, most newborns fit quite well in the Callisto. And surprise, surprise, I am in love with this. Sewn onto the Callisto G360 seat pad is a lovely tag with corresponding weight guidance and care instructions, along with a visual representation. One side of this tag is written in Spanish, and the other side of the tag is written in English. So no more digging through the manual, as much as we want you to read that manual. No more digging through the manual when you are providing education to a caregiver to find this information, and also providing the caregiver the information that the tag is right here if you forget, and when to remove it or when to not use it. The Callisto G360 is inclusive of a 12-position headrest with a no rethread harness. The handle is at the top of the headrest, and you squeeze that to pull the headrest up or down based on the child's needs. The center image on this slide shows the headrest in its lowest position and how to store the excess headrest flap behind that child. The flap is designed with fold lines to help guide the user, and in its lowest position, it folds in it's like an accordion fashion. So as the child grows, you can adjust and unfold those flaps as necessary. Used in the forward-facing harness mode, the Callisto G360 has a weight range of 26.5 to 65 pounds. The height requirement is 34.3 to 49.2 inches. The highest harness height comes in strong, my friends, at 19.1 inches, and the top of the child's ears must be below the top of the headrest. So because the forward-facing weight on the Callisto starts at 26 pounds, the head pad and the seat pad, inclusive of that removable foam wedge, must be removed. And that 26.5 forward-facing weight requirement is based on, again, NHTSA's new testing requirements. And NHTSA settled on a weight of the 26.5 pounds for that forward-facing minimum because that weight corresponds to a 95th percentile 1-year-old and about a 50th percentile 2-year-old. A 50th percentile 1-year-old weighs around 22 pounds. So that previous NHTSA rule where the 20-pound minimum was what we went by had actually allowed many children to ride forward facing long before we as CPS advocates would have really liked them to. In booster mode, the Callisto G360 is for children weighing between 40 and 120 pounds and whose height is between 43.3 and 57 inches. The top shoulder belt guide height is tall in this mode as well at 20.5 inches. When the Callisto G360 is converted to booster mode, the lower anchors and tether are permitted for use for positioning only and to prevent that booster from becoming a projectile in the event of a crash. The harness straps, shoulder pads, and the harness buckle tongues store inside the side wings, neatly behind the soft goods. There's also a spot to store the buckle strap on the underside of the base. So on the right side of the screen, you can store the buckle strap where with the lower anchor and tether hook storage. There's little compartments under there. So hopefully we're trying to prevent somebody from losing that buckle when they put the seat back together in harness mode. Here's a sleek look at the Callisto G360 in booster mode and all of those fabulous fashions: the almond beige, the moon black, the stone gray, the ocean blue with the light blue accents. That one's pretty too. They're all pretty. And my favorite, again, that stormy blue. As a leader in child safety, CYBEX thoughtfully designed the Callisto G360 with our Safety Assure protection system. And I'll go into detail about each feature in the next few slides. However, I did want to note a few important details about what's under those soft goods. The hard part of that headrest is EPS foam, and we've also included a special open-celled memory foam in the headrest and the side wings, and as well as energy dissipating memory foam in the back for additional safety. When we talk about installation of child restraints and we look at the misuse data that all of you as CPSTs have entered into the National Digital Car Seat Check Form, we can see that tether misuse and seatbelt misuse are both very high at over a 50% misuse rate each. With tether misuse rates in mind, CYBEX designed the Callisto with our anti-rebound base and our Secure Fix 360 tether. The anti-rebound base, along with a one-time installation tether for both rear and forward-facing positions, minimizes movement during a crash and ensures maximum stability. So you attach that tether from the very first installation, whether that is in a rear-facing or a forward-facing position. The tether is attached to the base, not the car seat shell, enabling that seat to rotate a full 360 degrees in any mode and in any recline position. The Callisto G360, as Brian mentioned earlier, is being shipped with a hang tag attached to the tether hook. The first picture is how the seat comes out of the box with the hang tag attached. And the middle picture and the picture on the far right is an up close of what is printed on that tag. And I see the heart emojis and the clapping going. Thank you for that. I'm really excited about this as well. And this is such a thoughtful addition to the Callisto that addresses what a tether is and why it's so important and how to use it correctly. So this is a win in my book. The Safe Lock system makes installation a breeze. You simply fasten the tether, you route the seatbelt through the belt guide, buckle the seatbelt, and lock the retractor. A lap shoulder belt is the preferred method of installation for the Callisto. If you are using the lower anchors for an installation, the seat may be used by a child weighing up to 30 pounds in the rear-facing mode and 35 pounds in the forward-facing mode. So here's an up-close view of the safe lock system. Again, you open that safe lock belt tensioner, you route the lap portion of the vehicle belt under the safe lock belt tensioner and across those blue belt guides. There's only one belt path on this seat, so regardless of whether you are installing it to use rear-facing or forward-facing, it's the same belt path. And you simply buckle the vehicle belt, remove your slack. There's no need to over tighten this, as that safe lock belt tensioner will tighten the belt fully. Route that shoulder portion of the vehicle belt on top of the lap portion. Close that belt tensioner. Route that shoulder portion of the vehicle belt behind the shoulder belt guide, which I will show you on the next slide. It's on the side of the base. Check for your movement, lock your retractor, and tighten up that tether. And that is really how simple it is. And this is a video of a technician that I met at a Michigan CPS conference. And Ashley, if you're on, give us a high five. And she gave me permission to share this. So.
There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do that. I have my new friend Ashley at the Michigan CPS conference, and she is. Tell us how excited you are about this seat.
Very excited, and I just got a lot of good information.
Awesome. All right. So she's going to install it with the seat belt. So go ahead and put the seat belt over the blue belt path and click it in. Awesome. And then put the shoulder belt portion all the way down there as well. Awesome. Okay. Close your belt tensioner and put your shoulder belt in that little lock off and put this in there. Yep. And then flip that down. There you go. And then do your retractor. Rock star, rock star. And tighten your tether, because we're always using that tether. Yay. And can you check it for us? Nice, nice, awesome sauce. You're loving it, right?
Yes.
Awesome, yay. Thank you so much for your help.
Yes.
All right, thank
you. Again, thank you, Ashley. So this belt guide on the side of the base is to help keep those little feet from playing with the shoulder belt in that rear-facing mode. So you route the shoulder portion of the vehicle belt behind the shoulder belt guide on the side of the base. And the shoulder belt guide may be rotated upward for easier access, but it must be returned to its original position once that vehicle belt is routed. It also helps to keep that shoulder belt out of the way when you are rotating this seat. It does rotate a full 360 degrees, so it helps with a really smooth rotation as well. So the linear side impact protection system on the Callisto G360 is integrated directly into the seat's energy absorbing shell, meaning that consumer doesn't have to make any additional adjustments to activate this system. And the LSP effectively reduces crash forces on the child in the event of a side impact collision. And CYBEX's linear side impact protection is present across our entire gold line of child restraints. The sensor safe chest clip is standard on the Callisto G360. If you're not already familiar with sensor safe smart technology, it is a Bluetooth enabled chest clip that sends mobile app alerts if a child unbuckles the chest clip, if the back seat becomes too warm or too cold, if the child has been seated too long, or if the driver unintentionally leaves the child behind. Multiple car seats can be added to the app, and the primary caregiver can invite multiple users to be added to their account as emergency contacts, creating a sensor-safe family. Those harness pads on the Callisto are optional, and you may get a better fit on smaller babies by removing them. The harness pads are installed above the sensor-safe chest clip, and you always want to make sure that the shoulder pads do not bunch up when you're tightening that harness. Again, if they do bunch up, you can remove them by simply unsnapping them. The Callisto G360 has 10 recline positions, and 2 of those positions can be used in booster mode. The recline adjustment handle is located on the front of the car seat below the harness adjustment button. Any recline position can be used as long as the recline arrow falls within the child's weight range. So the light blue being the most reclined and the purple being the most upright. The Callisto does rotate a full 360 degrees in any of the previously mentioned recline positions with the tether attached, regardless if it's installed with a lap shoulder belt or the lower anchors. Not having to move the seat to its fully upright position each time you rotate that seat helps to eliminate recline misuse, especially when the seat is used by multiple caregivers at different times. And I pulled this slide from some of our user-generated content. So here we have an example of multiple children using one seat at different times. So the two children are sisters, and the Callisto is in grandma's car. And the picture on the far left and the picture in the middle are the same child. Some trips she rides rear facing and some trips she rides forward facing. She is within the weight and height guidelines for both the rear facing and forward facing positions. So the baby on the far right always rides rear facing. And the beauty of the Callisto is that grandma is not having to uninstall and install depending on who's riding in the seat, which in our thinking is that there's less misuse. So, somebody's rear facing and it's in the proper recline position, she can turn it towards the door, take the child out. Somebody's forward facing, it's in the proper recline position, she can turn it towards the door, take the child out, and there's no messing around with the recline adjustment. There is a rotation handle on both sides of the Callisto shell. Only one handle needs to be used to activate the rotation feature. The seat does swivel to the side for ease of use for loading and unloading the child. And the benefits of loading and unloading from the side may include a squirmy toddler with that arched back. You all know what I'm talking about. Or with that same willful toddler who on a different day just wants to climb into the seat and do it all by themselves. And y'all know what I'm talking about there too. This swivel feature is also useful for a child that cannot assist with the transfer of getting in or out of the seat, or for a caregiver that may have strength or mobility issues. Another plus of the Callisto rotating towards the vehicle door is having that child facing the caregiver, making it easier for that caregiver to tighten the harness straps and adjust the chest clip correctly on every ride, because they're facing that child and they can really see what's going on with that chest clip and that harness. Some of the nice to have comfort features on the Callisto G360 include FR-free fabric, all around air ventilation, magnetic buckle holders, our easy in flip forward buckle pad, 2 removable cup holders, and a super cool removable UPF 50+ sun canopy. That advanced all-around air ventilation features a perforated shell and breathable mesh fabrics, and they keep your child cool in every season. The oversized UPF 50+ sun canopy offers complete shade and sun protection, eliminating the need for non-approved or aftermarket vehicle window shades. The Callisto G360 has 2 buckle strap positions. And again, the buckle strap should always be as close as possible to, but never under the child. And our easy in buckle pad keeps the harness buckle pointing forward. Together with the integrated magnetic buckle holders, these features make it easy to place the child in the car seat and buckle them up. So let's talk about this fabulous canopy. The CYBEX Callisto G360 is one of the few all-in-one car seats with a canopy. The canopy can be used in any position in the rear-facing mode, and in the forward-facing harness mode, it cannot be lowered below the top of the child's head. The canopy is not for use in booster mode, and it should be removed. And the Callisto is shipped with 2 removable color-coded holders. So if you see the red arrows and you see the almond beige fashion, the top of the cup holder is color-coded and blends in nicely. And then my favorite stormy blue on the right, the same thing. Do not lose them, because if you do, the only replacement is for black. So if you're liking the color-coded, keep them safe. And they are top rack dishwasher safe. So this next video I have to show you is, and I don't know if Sam's on the line, Mama Knows Car Seats. She shared this video with me, and Who knew the canopy was so fun to play a little peekaboo? So thanks to Sam for allowing us to share
Watch
this
this.
video. And adorable, right? Absolutely adorable. And here's another one where that came in where the child is playing peekaboo. This one doesn't have any sound. The toes. Love the baby toes. Mom was just showing us how she put the tether on there. And then the easy, nice, smooth swivel towards the door. Back to the riding position. And off they go. So the Callisto G360 is certified for aircraft use in the harness mode only. You will have to route the aircraft seatbelt over the safe lock belt tensioner for a proper installation. This is the only time the seatbelt may be routed on top of the safe lock belt tensioner. Because the chest clip has Bluetooth capability, the Callisto user manual instructs the consumer to unfasten the sensor safe chest clip during taxi, takeoff, and landing. So essentially, we're asking you to put it in Bluetooth mode because of the Bluetooth connectable part of it. Here are the fairly straightforward care and cleaning instructions for the Callisto. The soft goods may be spot cleaned or machine washed with cold water on a delicate cycle and air dried. The harness straps may be spot cleaned and also air dried. The buckle and the lower anchor connectors are to be spot cleaned, and the plastic parts can be wiped clean. And remember, your 2 color-coded cup holders are top rack dishwasher safe. Here's a little hint, my technician friends, as to where to find the data manufacturer and model number sticker, the aircraft certification statement, as well as the additional required labels. They are located underneath the soft goods on this seat, behind that backrest, close to where the child's bottom and back would be. So all you do is unsnap the soft goods and lift, and everything you need is accessible and easy to read. There's also an installation instruction sticker located on the door of the safe lock belt tensioner, as well as a QR code that can be scanned, which takes the user directly to the installation videos over on our YouTube channel. So the directions are right there for the person to look at who's doing the install. If they need to scan for videos, it takes you right over to YouTube. Some frequently asked questions that have been developing since the launch of the Callisto, because it is an all-in-one seat and we want you to use it for as long as possible. There is a 10-year expiration. We do allow a flatly folded towel or a small blanket for more recline. We are not allowing pool noodles at this time. The child restraint must be locked in that rear-facing or forward-facing position during travel, even when unoccupied, okay? This is also called out and very clear in the manual for clarification. The canopy cannot be used in booster mode and not below the top of the child's head in the forward-facing harness mode. The lower anchors and tether are allowed in booster mode, and all fashions are fire retardant chemical-free fabric, and we are working on our Green Guard certification. All right, a quick update on the CYBEX rear-facing only seats. This is our newest infant car seat from our Platinum line of products, the CYBEX Cloud T. The T offers ventilated construction with mesh fabrics that wrap around the shell, along with brushed matte and silver finishes. The Cloud T has replaced the Cloud Q in our Platinum line of products. This slide is a quick overview of the advanced safety protection offered on the Cloud T. And a note of importance here is that in line with the Callisto G360, the Cloud T is the first of our infant seat product lineup to also comply with the new FMVSS 213 standards. The Cloud T may be used for children beginning at 4 pounds and up to 30 pounds and 32 inches in height. The Cloud T offers a one-click rigid latch installation, a load leg, and an anti-rebound panel on the base. There are also safety indicators which change color to guide the caregiver with a correct installation. And like the Callisto, includes our SafeLock belt tensioner, which again is our belt tensioning system to help assist the caregiver in getting a secure installation when using the lap and shoulder seat belt. When used outside of the vehicle, the backrest on the Cloud T can be reclined and the leg rest extended to provide ergonomic positioning and comfort for the child. Again, when used outside of the vehicle on a CYBEX stroller frame, the Cloud T can be reclined. That backrest reclines and the leg portion moves outward. The Cloud T cannot be reclined on the base, and it should not be installed baseless while in the reclined position. And again, some really beautiful colors. We have the black, the platinum white, the mirage gray, peach pink, leaf green, and cozy beige. All right, who's feeling lucky? Anybody feeling lucky? Because we are excited to give away a Callisto G360 to one lucky attendee from today's webinar. The giveaway is for US participants only, and Steph is going to use a random selector app to pick a winner. And winners are posted on the Facebook CPS CERT page. So if you are not on Facebook, I will email the winner with details. And heck, even if you are on Facebook, I'm going to email you anyways, because I am so dang excited about the Callisto. And I see all the hearts and all the hip hip hooray emojis happening over here on my screen. You're distracting me. So this is my contact information, my email address, customer service. Our current CPST discount is 20% off the retail price on our website. At this time, however, we are unable to offer a discount on the Callisto. So please keep your eye out for that discount to be coming soon. If you have not already visited our CYBEX Safety Center and you would like to take a screenshot of that QR code, that's going to send you to our Safety Center. It talks about our CYBEX technologies, our car seat testing, car seat safety and install videos. All of our customer service representatives are child passenger safety technicians, and they can assist with virtual appointments. Our frequently asked questions page, which is evolving daily. And I also like to mention that we are a proud member of the Manufacturers Alliance for Child Passenger Safety, and that is housed over on the Safe Ride News website, that place where you get your lovely brand new blue, what are we calling it? Bright blue, bluey blue latch manual. All right. And thank you to Denise and Katrina over there at Safe Ride News for always being willing to house the MACPS website. And Steph, I'm going to leave this slide up. So if people haven't had a chance to get contact information, and between myself and Jess and Brian, if there's questions, I think that Jessica was going to kind of go through those and we can answer them as a team.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Kelly.
Of course.
So we got a lot of great questions and we have about 15 minutes. So I want to be efficient and I'll answer things as quickly and thoroughly as possible, along with Brian and Kelly's help. So first question from Danielle is, how does the fit seem to work in some of the vehicles that have non-removable headrests? So we actually did fit this in several vehicles, such as a Honda Accord, a Chrysler Pacifica, and 1 or 2 Tesla models, and we had no issues. So we feel very confident in the fit and installation in those vehicles. Then the seatbelt, Marla asked, does the seatbelt need to be locked? Yes, it does. We do not have a lock off in this vehicle seat. We have a tensioning door, so we do want to go ahead and lock the belt retractor. Charlene is asking, how much does the seat weigh? The seat weighs 35 pounds.
And it is and I'll just chime in, it's a steel reinforced frame, so that does
Yes.
make it a little heavier, but you know, with our advanced safety protection, that's part of the reason it's so heavy.
Yep, exactly. Donna's asking, is the sunshade standard on all seats? Yes, it is. It is standard, and it is also optional. If you do not want to use it, you do not have to use it. It is there for comfort and convenience.
And hey, Jess, I'll just to
Yeah.
add to that, there's 2 buttons on either side that are very easy for the consumer to remove if the child's playing with it and they don't want them to, or they don't see a value in it. They can take it off real easily, and then later on, if they want to use it, they can put it back on.
Yep, great. And then Cassandra asked, the storage clips are directly on the bottom of the seat and base. Did you want to take that one, Brian?
Yeah, so just to clarify, so when converting to a booster, the buckle stock removes and it is stored on the bottom of the base. And then from the tether, not tether, but from the harness buckle tines and stuff, those are actually stored behind the cover set on either side, on the left side or the right side of the seat. They kind of tuck in. There's a little place for them to tuck in. And there's a good video on YouTube that CYBEX has that kind of shows how that works and stuff if anybody wants more information.
Perfect, thank you. Donna's asking, what is the cost of the seat? On our website, it is $599.95 and available on our CYBEX website and also local retailers that we partner with. Let's see. Okay, so that one was answered live. When will it launch? Jennifer, it is available now. Go and check it out. It is live and out there. Did you see another question, Brian, that you wanted to grab? I'm going through them still.
Yeah, while you're looking, so we mentioned that the installation method was a lap shoulder belt. Do you allow a lap belt installation? And Kelly, I don't know what the exact answer is, but I mean, obviously a type 1 belt is always tested
Yes.
with this as well.
Yeah, so that's Katrina. Hi, Katrina. Yes, so you can use a lap belt for installation as well.
Availability, Nordstrom, Pottery Barn Kids, as well as online. To answer that question.
Yep. Is there an overhang limit on this seat? Do you want to grab? Oh,
I can.
Kelly?
I think I can answer that.
Okay.
It's the 80-20 rule for this seat because in our previous seat we had the Callisto had a load leg, so we were a little more lenient. Sirona, I'm sorry. Sirona had a load leg. Thank you for that correction. So we were a little more lenient with that, but for this seat, it is the 80-20. The 80% of the base needs to be on the vehicle seat.
And since you mentioned load leg, Kelly, just to jump into another question about why we removed the load leg. So that was a great question. So, you know, we put the load leg on the Sirona G. Why did we take it off this one? Well, with the tether and with the advocacy for the tether, tether does the same thing. If you use a tether in rear facing and forward facing, it has that same impact on movement. And you can't see my hands going back and forth, but that rebound and anti-rebound kind of takes that place with the tether, proper tether usage. And then we were also finding that sometimes with load leg, people were grabbing the seat at the load leg and shaking it back and forth and saying, oh, this isn't a good install, which we know is not correct, but at the same standpoint, it's consumer perception. And finally, it also frees up more room for you know, that child to get past the seat that might be going to another seat as well. So that's why we're advocating for the tether.
Perfect. Carrie was asking again, how do you unlock the Callisto to rotate? There are easy handles on either side of the shell, just right on the side. If you just bend your arm at like a 90-degree angle, it's pretty much right there. So, and it's a little bit offset from the black. It's actually a lighter gray color. So it's nice and easy to see, and it's right on the side of the shell. Cassandra's asking, for the seat, do you recommend that we check for the seat tightness by tugging at the base, since that is where the belt path is? Yes, we would always advocate for checking for that less than 1 inch of movement where the belt path is.
A couple questions about pool noodle, why we don't allow pool noodle usage. And it's really, we recommend a folded towel because of the shape of the bottom of the base. Base is carved out to provide storage for the safety components. So the harness buckle that we talked about, stock, as well as that's where the tether is located as well. So that's why we recommend a folded towel.
Yep, perfect. And then Trevor, for clarification, you're asking if you use the lock off door. So it's a belt tensioning door, and you must lock the seatbelt retractor. We're trying to keep it nice and simple. We're going to use the door to remove part of the slack once you've got your seatbelt installed, and then you're going to lock your vehicle retractor.
So a question came up about the belt path cover being removable, as well as I can't remember the other part of that question, but the belt path cover is not removable. We learned that one very, very quickly. There will never be another removable part on this product other than the cup holders. So the answer to that question is it is stationary. Tether out, click and go. It's very easy to do that.
Yep, perfect. And then the canopy is, it's not particularly ventilated, but it is a nice lightweight fabric that's going to have that UPF protection, so you can move it around and get plenty of ventilation towards the children, but it's not particularly ventilated like a mesh or anything like that. Let's see.
I'm seeing one here that's asking about inflatable seat belt. No, we do not allow the use of an inflatable seat belt with this seat. Thank you for that. I'm going to add that to my next presentation. These are really great. I appreciate these because these are things that I can add to, as we move forward with presenting this seat. These are great.
There's another one here. Patricia asks, have had some complaints from parents in the past that rotation ability from other seats is adversely impacted by sand, juice, etc. Do these common issues affect the rotation of your seat? No, I'm not going to say never, but the way this seat is designed, there's actually channels down around the base of the seat that carries away that liquid and stuff. We also have what we call a sand test, where we dump a bucket of sand in the seat and it still has to rotate. So we do try to create as much real world scenario for our engineers when they design this and make sure that the seat's as robust as possible. But a whole bunch of chewing gum wads and stuff, is that going to affect it? Yeah, potentially. But it should be pretty safe from juice and sand and dirt.
Yep.
Good. Rules for touching the seat in front. We do allow it to lightly touch. However, we don't want it to be braced. So if it has to be lightly touched, and it is fairly compact from front to back, but I also understand, being tall myself, how you may need to touch the front seat. But again, as long as it's not braced and squished in there, light touching is fine.
Yep. Cassandra's asking, do we happen to have a video online for the towel demonstration? I'm assuming this is how you would get an adjusted recline if you're needing to use the small folded towel or blanket. We don't, but looking through the manual, there's really clear imagery and pictures there for how you would roll or fold it up. And then we do have just a more generic installation video, but we didn't use a towel in that demonstration. But if you have any questions regarding using a towel or a small folded blanket, please let myself or Kelly know.
Claire, so I'm looking at your picture. I'm not looking at your picture, Claire. I'm looking at your question about the rear facing recline when installing with that tensioning door open. And I'm not quite sure if this was what Brian had jumped on, but just to clarify, this seat stays in position with the tensioning door open. It's not going to slide down like the original Sirona did in some situations. It stays up there. The door can be open. You don't need 2 hands or 4 people to make it work. It does stay in position.
Yeah, it's spring loaded.
Yep. Let's see. Anything else that you guys have seen?
Yeah, crotch buckle adjustment. There's a slot. It's kind of a T slot in the seat, so you just turn the buckle sideways, and you can move it in or out. to adjust to the child.
The recline angle, must the rear facing angle be more upright when the child reaches 20 pounds? So there are 10 recline adjustment positions, and as long as you're following the recline angle indicator sticker on the side of the seat, you can move that however much the child weighs. It can be, I think, and again, I would have to go back and triple check, but in the lightest blue, that's 4 to 20, but then the next color blue is 20 to something. So as long as the child was in the weight, you can use any of those reclines in any position.
Heather's question, what type of lower anchors does it have and what's the weight limit on those and tether? So it does have the mini latch connectors and the weight limit. Do you have that off the top of your head, Brian?
It's 30.
Okay,
For
30.
rear facing.
Rear facing is 30, forward facing is 35, and they're the
Correct.
push on lower connectors.
Great, thank you.
Perfect.
What about Sally's question? Can we use a locking clip with this seat?
It doesn't come with one.
Right.
If you were in a circumstance that you needed to use one, I mean, Brian, if you want to, if you're using, you can only use a locking clip on a lap and shoulder belt. So the lap and shoulder belt is going through the belt tensioner. I guess Jennifer, I forget who is asking that question. Are you asking like if it's an ELR retractor? Like if you need to use one, I would contact customer service or me or Jessica or Brian, and just verify, making sure that we have everything else correct before we resort to using a locking clip on this seat.
I think that's a good way to answer it.
Perfect. The winner for the contest or the raffle, the Facebook page, how will they be notified again?
Hi, it's Stephanie here, and I did see a couple of those questions, and the Facebook page is National CPS Certification. And right when the webinar is over, I will do a random selection and I will put the name of that person on that Facebook page by this afternoon. And then what will happen is, Kelly, we will have your email from how you registered, and then Kelly will reach out to you by email to get the address of where that seat can go, whoever the winner is. Thanks for asking, Jessica. Yeah.
Yep.
And Kelly, one more time, when was the tech discounts for Callisto? When did that start?
We do not have a tech discount, Brian. Stop telling stories. We don't.
Oh, sorry.
We don't have a tech. I really wish we did. And for all of you that have been emailing and asking, I'm working on it. I promise I'm working on it. This seat is selling so well that, for a time we had limited stock and we still have limited stock. And when we get more stock, I think that's going to be closer to when we can offer this discount. But everything else, everything but the Callisto is 20% off of our retail website price. And if you just email me a copy of your CPS certification card, I can verify all that and get you a discount code on the CYBEX website. And just kind of keep your eyes and ears open and, pass it along to each other. If I'll post on social when we have a code, and I am keeping a running list of those of you that, I think there was another question in there, that are asking about a CPST discount, send me an email, and I'm keeping a running list of that so that I can notify people when that does happen. But I don't have a date right now as to when that's actually going to happen.